Good morning. This is Bill from, well, formerly Auto Europa Naples, as anyone watching this channel knows by now, now of Auto House of Naples. And I've got today this, well, again, it sort of depends how you look at it. This is either a 5th or 10th generation E-Class, depending on your perspective, but we'll get into that in a moment. I've decided to review this car because I haven't, had one before. It's an E-Class. Hey, baby. How you doing? Yeah, I'm looking good. Anyway, I haven't had one of these before. This is the current generation E-Class, the W213. It's only the 5th generation to be actually named officially an E-Class. That was, the 124 began at midstream in about 1993. But it is the 10th generation E-Class, if you're going to go by, what it is, the mid-size executive sedan, which came out in 1953. So, no matter how you look at it, this thing has been around for a while. This is the quintessential mid-size executive sedan. I mean, if you look at the list of mid-size executive sedans, all the way from, Mercedes-Benz down to Hyundai, there are just dozens of them. And people put a lot of effort into them, even though the sedan is dying, because, well, people are really stupid. Speaking of how stupid people are, I'm watching, again, the, intensifying peaceful protests going on across the country. And I'm not going to get involved with the politics of it. But for the love of God, I mean, can we just tone it down a little bit just to get a little bit of business done in the meantime, at least in the big cities? I mean, here in Naples, it's not really a thing. It's not really a trouble to go down to the shop and get something. But from what I see on the news, if you're in, Seattle or Chicago or one of these big, fantastic metropolitan areas, it's tough just to go down to a little boutique and buy some, Louis Vuitton stuff. You have to kind of plan for it. So hopefully that all comes to an end soon and we can get back to normal. If I had to predict, I'd say November 3rd, one way or another, we're going to come back to normal. Can only hope so. Anyway, back to the E-Class. So, call it a bread and butter car for Mercedes-Benz. One of their most important cars, by far. They sell a ton of them, even though, again, SUVs are ruling the day. So, less and less of these are going to get made and sold. But for the moment, this is a very important car to Mercedes. Even, today with the whiskey therapy I've got going for the coronavirus, I took extra whiskey therapy this morning. You never know when you're going to need it. And I just felt like today is one of those days. We also have a little race in Daytona coming up this weekend. We've got a tropical storm aimed for it, so I'm going to make sure to bring my wet weather tires, but I don't know. It just seems I listened to NPR on the way here today, and that's going to depress anybody. I have to tell you, if you really want to depress yourself, if you want to go into a fit of actual depression, listen to NPR in the morning. By the time I pulled up, they were going on about suiciding Olympic athletes or something. You can't even be an Olympic athlete anymore and not be somehow to be pitied and, felt bad about by the rest of the populace. Even these people are having trouble. So anyway, troubled times, and nobody wants to hear this crap. So I'm going to try to get off my tangents and get right back into the car. So W213 followed the W212, and I have to say about this car that it encompasses a lot of the things that I really dislike about modern cars, while at the same time it does encompass some stuff that I'm pretty happy about. More like any other E-Class that I've ever driven, this thing feels like a mini S-Class. In terms of the ride, in terms of the fit and finish, the poise, the way it goes down the road, it's really got quite a lot of S in it, and is actually quite nice to drive. I have to admit that, despite my immediate dislike for some of the stuff that it does and the way that it is essentially designed to detach the driver from the experience of actually driving an automobile. As I used to say about the Accord, it's made for people who have just given up on life. I mean, if you just want a car, a conveyance to get from point A to point B, then you're going to look at an Accord or a Camry. The E-Class has always offered a little bit more than that, although that seems to be their design theme now. The only thing that I'll say for Mercedes is they've done it better than most. The styling, traditional German, not over. I'm going to get by this tree. Another thing that's creeping me out is, even though I know there's birds all over the trees here looking at us and you can't see them, I do know that there's chickens and roosters in the back. And driving down this road this morning, there was I don't think it was a giant pig. It was like a giant small pig. If there's like mini pigs, this was a giant mini pig. And it was menacingly close to the road. And all I could do was look at it and hope it didn't run out in front of me, because then it would have been bacon for everybody. But anyway, what are you going to do? Animals are just a fact of life, and we all have to deal with them the best we can. But where the hell was I on this thing? So it's detached the driver from driving. This one doesn't have that big $10,000 package, which gives you all the autonomous stuff that Mercedes has, which frankly is fine with me, because I don't need the car to park itself, drive itself, take over for me, do all the things that it wants to do, while I pick my nose or go down the road and worry about protests intensifying, or which pronoun to use, or whatever it is people worry about when they're not actually driving a car while behind the wheel. I really haven't, I can't, in this way. I know that's been going on for a long time, but I just haven't experienced it, nor do I want to. It really just gives me the creeps. Anyway, let's just get into this car. So the E300 name is back, but the nomenclature is crap, because really, technically, it's an E200. This has a 2-liter engine, not a 3-liter. Mercedes has apparently given up on having accuracy of their nomenclature, based on, I would suspect, marketing. An E300 sounds better than an E200, which, an S550 sounds better than an S460 or 470. So, these are things that are done to make us feel better. Not entirely different from the way they created the Lexus name, and frankly I expected a little more from Mercedes, but what are you going to do? This is the sport version, so you get these big AMG wheels. They look pretty good on the car. Like the grayish color of them, the way it contrasts with the white and the black pano roof. The styling, very much Mercedes corporate, looks like the S, looks like the C. Nice flowing curves from front to back. I see a little bit of early CLS in this car, with that high belt line with the swooping curve going to the rear, and that makes me happy. So at a certain point, Mercedes-Benz decided they couldn't just be completely stodgy in their designs, and they had to become a little bit more current and elegant. The danger in doing that, of course, is that the cars may not age the way that you want them to, and that did happen with the early 210 E-Class, which was really the car that moved them from stodgy, German styling into something a little bit more current and elegant. Some people think that design looks very dated now with its oval headlights, and they're probably not wrong. You see the big star in the grille, again, being the sport package. It's not going to have the hood star on the hood, which I like. You've got some very fancy rope LED headlamps with swoopy bits in them, and it's become quite hip to write stuff within the headlights. These say LED high performance, and that all looks very nice. Also nice little chromy polished bits at the bottom of the spoiler. You've got some real aggressive looking air intakes on the left and right, which may or not actually be air intakes, but good enough. And it just does look quite nice. It looks a little bit angry, a little bit aggressive, and very proper all around. I even like the way the mirrors look when they're folded in here as the car is locked. Little chrome bits on top. There's the phone. I have to remember to put that on airplane mode, or whatever the hell you call it. Let me get that figured out right now, actually. See who's calling anyway. He can wait. All right, let's see. Turn that into airplane mode. Good. All right, let's just get in the trunk of this thing. So, I don't know if it has a swoopy thing underneath. Some of these cars did. I'm not feeling it in this one. But anyway, so you pull a little guy and up it comes. Again, at a certain point, they decided that luxury cars should have power trunks, and this one does. So, like any E-Class, this has fantastic trunk space. I have to say, very, very good. Now also has a standard folding rear seat, 60/40. That was optional in prior E-Classes, and that seemed dumb to me. Why not just have the folding seat and everything? You don't see Accords with optional folding rear seats. You get this great little hook that's been going on for years. You can pull that down. Ostensibly, it's to hang your shopping bags from. Those little crappy plastic shopping bags they give. You can hang those from there. They won't throw your, cans all over the not those kind of cans, the steel cans, whatnot. They roll all over the trunk and become annoying. If you hang them from that little thing, it's fine. Also, if you run over any squirrels or possums, some other roadkill, you can probably hang them from that as well. Dry out a little bit before you throw them in a soup. You do have an infant containment net over here. Not for a very big infant. That's only going to last while they're quite young. I don't actually know what these things are because I haven't opened them up yet. They do have a Mercedes part number. Let's see if we can do that while we're talking. Let's see what this thing is. Looks like some kind of a poncho or something, or rain suit. That's kind of a nice feature, so that comes with the car. You also have a first aid kit, everything a wounded German might need. Now, if you have a larger infant, Mercedes is kind enough to give you this thing, which I think, if I fold just right, will open up and become a box that you can contain one in. And also it has some sort of a carpet stopper thing underneath, so you can put it up there and, again, contain your cargo. You also have that weird looking thing beneath it that holds it. And all in all, just a nice little area beneath the trunk to store things that you may not want a state trooper to see. So working out very, very well there. Of course, if you have a big toddler, I guess you could use these little fixed hooks to ratchet strap them down, and then they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to be fine. To close this thing, press that, and nothing happens. Nah, it does. There it does. Comes down. All nice stuff. Now, we do have keyless go, so I've got the keys in my pocket. All I have to do is pull the handle and it opens up. I'm going to pop the hood and look under here. This is going to depress me. I just know it is. So there it is. Mercedes has gone the way of VW and Audi with their 2-liter turbo. Gas mileage stuff, all of the, world is dying, so we need to use less gas and have less fun and be more miserable. That has rubbed off on Mercedes, and this is the standard E-Class engine. What used to be a 6 is now a turbo 4 with only 241 horsepower. I will admit that it feels adequate, but it's just not what I expect at all when I open the hood of a standard unit. This is like one of those engines that's usually available only in Guatemala or Europe, one of those countries or, regions that, need little teeny engines. This is not an engine that historically we would have had in the United States. So just another sign that things are changing. Full of technology. You're going to average about 25 miles to the gallon. I want to say it's like 22 city, 30 highway. It's coupled to a 9-speed, 9G-tronic automatic transmission. And I get into 9 forward gears. How the hell does the car ever know what gear it's in? It's just too many damn gears. But apparently it works well, and I can't argue with that. When I drive it around, it feels pretty good. So good enough, I can't attest to the durability of this engine. It's fairly new, and I haven't had too many of these, but it's probably fine. And everything looking good under there. Let's get that down. Do like the mirrors. I think that's a handsome design. You see the big pano roof up top, all very lovely. In the back seats, I do like the color combo of this car, the sort of ivory MB Tex with the black. It looks nice. This is the part that actually impresses me because, again, when I talk about the difference between the early 90s 124 and the later 90s W210, that was really when Mercedes-Benz cheapened their cars. Now, it's not a good thing, but at the same time, it was something they had to do because you couldn't have a $100,000 E-Class running around. You're not, the top end of the Accord segment is not going to be $100,000 because people just aren't going to buy it. So Mercedes had to figure out a way to become a little bit more like every other car company in the way they built their cars. The good news is, by the time this thing is rolled around now, 3 or 4 generations later, they have done it in a way that actually feels nice and actually is reasonably faithful to the original Mercedes design of wood, nut, bolts, leather, stuff that you feel with German engineering. I mean, the wood quality in this car is gorgeous. The subtle curvature. This is the upgraded Burmester stereo, so it's absolutely lovely. The little psychedelic looking grills. I like the nickel plated surrounds and the handles. It just looks very, very nice. It feels like it has good fit and finish, befitting a high-end car, and is is lovely to look at. You do have a little storage area there, so yeah, your backseat passengers will be able to stick a 9mm or 357, probably poke it out a little bit, but it'd be fine. You also have a center console here that gives you weird little expensive looking individual cup holders that will probably break when they're used too much. And then a very nice little gun storage area in the center console. Lovely, lovely. Let's hop in. Also, the doors closed now. Nice bank vault sound. So again, the fit and finish, the quality of engineering, and the way it was executed in his design, I can't argue with. So, foot on the brake. We've got a flashing start-stop engine thing here. Let's fire it up. We've got these funky-looking keys. I still can't. Why do they have to make keys this big? I feel like they could make the keys a little bit smaller. All right, let's see what we got. So here we've got 2 analog gauges, because this doesn't, again, have that premium 3 package where we would have 2 12.3-inch LCD screens, you know, modern car-wise. This is a little bit more traditional with the analog gauges and the display screen in the center. Everything's fine. It's nice. My only complaint is, oh God, listen to that. It's too loud. I don't really like the gauges. This gas gauge, it's hard to read. It blends right in with this sort of busy looking 160 mile an hour speedometer. I'm sure it's something you get used to, but it just looks a little weird to me. Ditto the temp gauge over there. Get the seatbelt on. You've got like 22nd generation airbags everywhere. You've got all kinds of safety features. This does have blind spot, so you've got that. So if somebody's, you don't feel like using your mirrors, that thing will glow red when somebody's in your way or in your back spot. You don't have to change lanes. You've got a very funky looking seat design. And this is where I'm talking about. This thing is like right out of the S-Class. I mean, what a beautiful seat switch that looks more expensive than you'd expect in an E. They also give you the right seat option where you can press the R there, and if some thoughtless jerk has left your right seat in a weird spot with either a high headrest or something, you can fix it appropriately. So I appreciate that. You've also got your heat and your memory. Again, the psychedelic Burmester grill. And here again, look at the way this beautiful wood flows into the dashboard with the curvature and the niceness. Now, this is stuff that they couldn't have done. I don't know where they're able to do that now without making it so expensive it becomes unfeasible, doesn't matter. And that is something, again, that has helped the E become more opulent, and I think befitting a car of its price tag, and certainly more opulent than the E-classes of the last few years. Nice little leather-wrapped steering wheel. You've got these flippity paddles. They now give you these things to control. It's a little mouse. You see I'm doing this here. You've got buttons and mouse pads, so I don't know, someone's calling me again, for the love of God. All right, there's our consumption. There's our eco display. What the hell was that? We've got scales, foot pedal, wheels, bonus from start. I don't even want to know what that means. I really don't. I mean, if this is some sort of ecological game that they're, making people play to get better gas mileage and save the earth, I'm going to throw up. I really am. You've got RNDPC. I presume C is comfort. Whatever. Okay, I know you can go through different stuff here. Let me see if I hit that. Yeah, there we go. No, I don't want to reset the trip odometer. What is going on? Oh, the hell with it. All right, we'll get into that in a second. Over here on this 12.3-inch display, which you see we have a giant navigation screen going, I can hit the home button down here, spin it around, and get myself into the radio. You also get internet radio. Well, let me try to here's NPR, just ready to depress the hell out of you. What else do we have? We have media. You can get into your Bluetooth audio. Nice. It also has Apple CarPlay and Android, so if you need that, you got that. Put it in reverse, and you get this nice big enhanced camera. It gives you, the full view there. You can even change, let's see, this goes up to a side view or something. Oh, look at that. I can make the whole thing wide-angle camera. I can check my entire surroundings. I don't know what that, anyway, you got a lot of stuff you can do. It also gives you this little 3D imprint thing where the car, you can see incoming threats. You also got that necklace thing. We talked about that in the S the other day. Somehow all these round vents are supposed to simulate a woman's necklace. Yeah, take that as you will. Nice little knobs, you know, these are metal, they feel nice. You got a lot of direct access stuff. So you've got your, let's see what we've got. Here's our parking camera again. Search for parking spaces. Okay, so this does have active parking. So this car will park itself in a parallel parking spot, turning the wheel for you, or at least helping you do it. And yeah, it's all very exciting. You can go through different dynamic driving modes. We've got Eco, that's not for me, Comfort, which is for me, Sport, Sport Plus, and then you can individual set it. I would say that there's very little difference between all of these, and, you know, probably quite minimal. From everything I've read about the reviews of them, you know, they handle well enough, but that really isn't the point of the car. Anyway, excuse me, go back into our home screen there. No, apparently we won't. We're just going to leave out because we're in reverse, so get rid of that and go back into the home screen. We'll leave it there. Again, still the prerequisite analog clock, direct access buttons, which I do appreciate for the command screen. That stands for cockpit management and data. You've got this giant place where, thank God, they have relatively cheap looking cup holders that are going to continue to work and not break. On the older E-classes, they all broke and it was awful. And presumably this is where you get your Apple and Android CarPlay, and probably a nice little spot for a miniature 9 or 380 in there. You got more USBs in here, you got an SD card, and terrific gun storage. Over here in the glove box, you got your books and whatever else. See the green lighting there? Apparently there's like 80 different kinds of lighting you can set up in this car, whatever color suits your fancy for the moment. And that'd be good. The snowflakes, I love that, along with all the technology for Instagram and TikTok and such. Electric steering, electric braking, electric friggin' everything. You know, again, what car companies do to detach you from the road. Real quick, I like the little thin-rimmed rear view mirror. I think that's kind of cool. And this one does have a pano roof, so if you open that up, all of a sudden you've got a nice big wide open spot. One more gives you the pano sunroof option, but not for me today, so I'm going to close that back down. I guess I will leave the glass open. Look at that, the electric gate's going. Let's hope we don't run over this pig that I saw earlier. Off we go. So you can hear, you know, I have to say that this car almost has a diesel-y dynamic to it with that little turbo 4 and the way that it's geared. It feels like, you know, one of the ways that they make diesels peppy. I have to wonder if there isn't a little bit of diesel technology in the drivetrain. It can have very active systems. What the hell? My hood is open. For the love of God, I'm sure I closed that. Go ahead and get that going. Probably has half of it open. Oh, it is open. Look at that. So I am a retard. Actually, it's only half open. So yeah, there it is. Mercedes have 2 latches. Probably every car does now. Miss the days of '69 Buicks when they had just 1 latch. You know, and if one of the latches is closed, just, you know, let the guy go. Just let the guy go. You know, it's not coming up. They know it. To get out of the car and settle yourself. What if I was in traffic, for God's sake? Alright, back into, there's our parking brake off automatically. Alright, I still want to get more stuff, because I had a different view today. Where the hell was this? Alright, there's our home. Oh, here we go. Okay, so drive assist, service. These are the different things you can get on your little... You can get a navigator. Let's see what that looks like. That just gives your previous destination or current or radio, media, phone. So there you go. You get this little screen in here. I kind of like the drive assist, although I'm not really sure what it does, but it shows the car going down the road with green all around it. I presume when all hell breaks loose, that'll turn red. All right, so off we go. It's going through its 9 gears. You know, you can feel it shift, but not much. Certainly not enough to care. The steering, it feels a bit dead to me. I think it's variable assist, where it's gonna, you know, the more you turn, the sportier you drive, it's gonna pick things up and act a little more sporty, but not too sporty. And there it is. So this is not a car that is built for driving excitement. It's a car that's built for transportation. And I will say on that front that they have done, and this is, the pig was right around here somewhere. No, not the woman. What? God, what is wrong with you people? I'm not that. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Look at that thing. They're walking it. They have children walking a giant pig wearing weird hats. Yeah, this is America in 2020. Let's get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so here is going to get complicated. So the things that I like about this are also some of the things that I don't like about this. One is it drives and feels, suspension-wise, steering-wise, you know, ass in the seat-wise, like an S-Class. It feels very substantial, this car. It feels heavier than it is, and it does feel a little bit like the way the S feels to me, and I like that. But there is no liveliness to it in the sense that I want to go flip it around a racetrack or something. I mean, it tracks down the road beautifully. I get not even a hint of vibration in the steering wheel. You get terrific feel from the brakes, all very lovely. And the way the car tracks down the road is just terrific. It's a lovely way to transport yourself. But is it driving? You know, that's the part that bothers me a little bit, and particularly when you get into the one that, with the Distronic, that big 10 grand option where it basically drives itself up to 130, it's just taken over for you while you do whatever the hell you want, and I don't know, that's just not the world for me. I want to go backwards. I want to go to a driving feel. Give me like a 1960s Triumph with an old SU carburetor and a pocket knife and duct tape to keep it going. To me, that's more of a driving experience, but you know, I'm a dinosaur, so I guess the kids like this shit. So anyway, there it is, 2017 Mercedes-Benz E300, W113, 213, current generation E-Class. Mercedes has done a hell of a job. I like it more than I should because, again, it's just not my thing. But man, it drives nice. It feels nice. It's a nice bit of transportation for people who don't really want a lot of driving excitement. And I guess that's the bulk of the country. So thank you for having a look. Really appreciate it. This one's going up on the old review site. Peter probably doesn't want me talking about weird kids with pigs and that sort of thing on his site. So I'll do a better review on something for him tomorrow and go to Daytona, race my ass off this weekend, and try to get back in the swing of things. Thank you very much for having a look. Appreciate it. We'll see you with the next one. Take care.